morning, dear student. How are you? I am Diana Jelihovschii.
And I am Maria Johnson. Welcome to another virtual English lesson. Today we will speak about education in the past, and we will have a short review about irregular nouns.
First, what does education mean? Let's see the first definition of education given by the English dictionary. So, education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. Educational methods include teaching, training, storytelling, discussion, and directed research. Education frequently takes place under the guidance of educators. However, learners can also educate themselves. Education can take place in formal or informal settings, and any experience that has a formative effect on the way one thinks, feels, or acts may be considered educational. The methodology of teaching is called pedagogy.
One of the most impressive personalities speaking about education was for sure Aristotle.
Who was Aristotle?
Aristotle was a tireless scholar whose scientific exploration were as wide-ranging as his philosophical speculations were profound. A teacher who inspired and who continued to inspire generations of pupils. A controversial public figure who lived a turbulent life in a turbulent world. He bestrode antiquity like an intellectual colossus. No man before him had contributed to so much to learning. No man after could hope to rival his achievement. Aristotle was born in 384 and died in 322 BC. He was a Greek philosopher in ancient Greece, taught by Plato. He was the founder of Lyceum. As the word education seems to have a huge history lasting for so many years, it is still one of the most important aspects concerning our personality.
Thank you. Next to Aristotle, there are other great personalities concerned about the topic education. That's why we propose you to find the correct matching of these sayings and quotation. So let's take the first. The brighter you are, let's think a little bit. So, the brighter you are, the more you have to learn. The brighter you are, the more you have to learn. This amazing piece of literary genius has been attributed to Socrates by Plato, but that needs to be confirmed. It doesn't really matter who said it. It's just important that it was said and needs to be understood.
Let's take a look at the second one. The object of teaching a child is to enable him to get along without a teacher. That was by Albert Hubbard.
The next one, the doors of wisdom are never shut. The quote, "The doors of wisdom are never shut," from Poor Richard exemplifies a recurring subject in the almanac of satirizing ignorance and stressing that learning is a lifelong process. Principles with which Benjamin Franklin led his whole life. He said, "For having lived long, I have experienced many instances of being obliged by better information or fuller consideration to change options even on important subjects, which I once thought right but found to be otherwise."
On the fourth one, wise men learn by others' harm. Fools scarcely by their own. That was by Benjamin Franklin, Poor Richard's Almanac.
The saying number 5. Learn from the skillful. He who teaches himself has a fool for a master. It means you should acknowledge the teachings of the wise. If you try to learn everything in your own, you are not really going to learn nearly as much as someone who's been there and knows what's up.
On the sixth one, being uneducated is not as dishonorable as being unwilling to learn. Life is learning. We have to learn new things all the time just to keep up. We have to keep up an open mind and not assume we know everything. We have to be willing to learn new things when it's necessary. Not knowing something is not a disgrace. We can learn and then we'll know. But refusing to learn new things is bad because it leads us to make bad decisions out of ignorance. It interferes with our ability to solve problems because solving problems is mostly based on relevant knowledge. In fact, the real world problem solving consists mostly of investigation to learn the facts around the problem.
Well done. And the last one, genius without education is like silver in the mine. By Benjamin Franklin. Someone can be really smart, but if they don't learn anything, it is like silver that is in the mine, which is of no use until it is drawn out. You can make silver coins out of silver that is in the mine. A genius who never learns anything is smart at nothing. And now we propose you info box.
Greek philosophers or thinkers always discuss what education should try to do and what it should include. Plato wrote a book called The Republic, which is one of the best books ever written on education. Since those days, Greek ideas have influenced European education, especially secondary and university education.
So Maria, we can ask who were the first teachers, when and where the first schools were started. What did the education in the past include? Let's try to find the answers to these questions in the text Education in the Past.
Education in the past. The first teachers were fathers and mothers. But very early in the history of men, children began to be taught by people other than their fathers and mothers. It is thought that schools first started in Egypt 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, and that it was the invention of writing which made them necessary. Reading and writing were quite different from the skills used in everyday life. The writing made it possible to store up knowledge which grew with each generation. Specially trained people were therefore needed to teach it.
So, in this small text, you can find the answers of our questions. Now, it is time to get acquainted with the vocabulary linked to our topic. The first word is liberal. It means respecting other opinions. The second one, Maria, help me please.
Priestly. Priestly is connected with a priest.
The next one, behavior. The way that somebody behaves, especially towards other people. So we can have good behavior, that is good, and bad behavior.
Now we have tier, one of several levels in an organization or a system.
The next one is charge. The amount of money that somebody asks for goods and services.
Nobles, a person who comes from a family of high social rank.
Despised. To dislike and have no respect for somebody or something.
Next we have network. Network is a complicated system of roads, lines, tubes, nerves, etc. that are connected to each other and operate together.
Mend. It means to repair something that has been damaged or broken so that it can be used again.
Common. Common is something that's happening often, existing in large numbers, or in many places.
So, what is common for the spring? We have snowdrops. The next one is organizing. It means to take all the arrangements for something to happen.
Program. Program is a plan of things that will be done or included in the development of something.
Scriptures is the next one. Scriptures means the holy books of a particular religion. Now we continue to fill in the gaps using the new vocabulary. So the first one is, only the sons of attended the first Egyptian schools, which taught reading, physical education, and good. So, what do you think, Maria? What are the missing words?
In the first one, we have nobles. Only the sons of nobles attended the first Egyptian schools, which taught reading, physical education, and good behavior.
The text number B. In China, until the 19th century, education was organized according to social classes and consisted largely of learning the by heart.
We have program for that because in China, until that 19th century, it was organized in classes consisted of, learning the program that they put in place.
You are right. The text number C. In ancient India, the caste decided what should be taught to each of the 4 castes or groups into which people were divided.
That answer there is priestly. In ancient India, priestly caste decided what should be taught to the 4 groups.
You are right again. And only the priestly caste was allowed to learn the scriptures. And the text number D. In Great Britain, the first teachers were read about were craftsmen. They taught children to read, write, and count, to cook, and their shoes. In early 19th century, the main system of teaching was the monetary system.
And in that blank, we would put mend. That children were taught to read, write, and count, to cook, and also mend their own shoes.
Well done. The teacher could manage a class of 100 or more by using older pupils or monitors to help him. The schools had long desks, which were sometimes arranged in so that the teacher could see every child in a large class.
What do you think the missing word is? Let's see, Diana.
Let's see.
Tears.
The Spartans, a hard and warlike people, gave a purely military education. At the age of 7, all boys of noble families were taken from their homes and were sent to live in groups. They were kept under very strict discipline and were taught hunting, military scouting, swimming, and the use of weapons. Literature, and some people think they could not even read.
Let's find the missing word. They despise literature, and some people think they could not read.
Okay, what do we have here, Maria?
Here you can see the picture of another example of education in the past. A big school in Stratford upon Avon, UK. It is believed that Shakespeare was educated here at this school.
Interesting. All these great personalities we discussed about today as Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Benjamin Franklin, they were great oratories. This rhetoric is often used in their speeches. What is rhetoric, Maria?
Rhetoric is the art of effective expression and the persuasive use of language. Oratory, the art of influence the thought and conduct of an audience.
Maybe for some of you, it is time to think about developing your personalities with rhetoric. The picture you see shows that the rhetoric can aid in giving you the feeling of satisfaction and confidence. Now, let's give a little time to grammar. We have countable and uncountable nouns. What are countable nouns?
Countable nouns are something that you can count, something that can be included.
For example, a tree, 2 trees. Uncountable nouns?
There are things that we cannot count. For example, Diana?
For example, butter or sugar. We have also rice, bread. Uncountable nouns
Are often abstract ideas, things you cannot touch. Love, freedom, education, luck, help, beauty, music, thunder.
or they are made of smaller parts like sugar, rice, salt, sand, flour, dirt, dust, traffic, grass, spaghetti.
It could also be some food cut up into smaller parts, such as bread, fish, cheese, chocolate, meat, bacon, food, ham. That all sounds good.
Or liquids and gases: water, milk, wine, oil, coffee, rain, soup, air, smoke, blood, juice, fog.
You have materials such as wood, glass, paper, gold, silver, ice, iron, cotton, wool, and steel.
And be careful, uncountable in English is furniture, advice, work, news, information, luggage, and money. So, in conclusion, education is, Maria, countable or uncountable noun?
It is uncountable.
Yes, for sure. Education is a lifelong process, and it is essentially training your mind. Do not forget, train your brain every day. Goodbye.
Thank you.